I'll tell you who the Phantom Menace is. It's not Jar Jar or Palpatine or Darth Maul. It's Sleep, because this movie is boring. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, Toxic, I already can hear you asking, why are you reviewing a 20-year-old movie? Well, I'm reviewing them all before Episode 9 comes out. Hopefully I don't run out of time and have to rush them all out like I did with the MCU. But the other question that you have is, why is this Episode 1 if it's obviously not the first movie? Well, boys and girls and non-binary pals, that's because during the production of Episode 5, George Lucas was like, this doesn't feel like a complete story. I think when we're done here, we need to go back before this and tell some more story. So he devised the prequel trilogy. And that's why Episode 4 was just called Star Wars initially, and then was recalled Episode 4. And then 5 and 6 happened the way that they happened, and now we have 1, 2, and 3. And George did not have any clue what this story was supposed to be. Now, enough backstory, let's actually get on with this movie. So about 30 years before the events of A New Hope, this planet called Naboo they're just trying to trade stuff with other planets, but suddenly there's a trade embargo on them. So the Republic sends 2 ambassadors, Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi, to go to the Trade Federation, Trade Commission, whatever they're supposed to be called, and negotiate trade routes to continue back with Naboo. And things just go wrong and wrong and wrong. Turns out Naboo is supposed to be invaded, and it's like, oh, we have to warn them, but they're just really bad at it because they decide to go with the invading force to warn them that they're being invaded, which at that point, it's just a little too late. But soon enough, you find out that the CGI of this movie is terrible and cannot keep up with all the things that they're supposed to be doing with it. Also, it's like, okay, well, let me see if I can get this in the right order. I don't even think I can. Hold on, give me a hot second. They go and they manage to escape, and then they get away and they go to Tatooine for some reason, and they meet Shmi Skywalker, and they also meet Anakin Skywalker, who's one of the worst things about the movie. And it's like, hey, this kid's got a super high midichlorian count. What are midichlorians? They are germs that give you the Force. And one of the worst words to ever happen to Star Wars, right next to prequel. But they spend forever on Tatooine. There's this whole pod racing mini arc, which it's like, okay, well, we need a part for our ship because it broke down while we were leaving, because we break things all the time because we're really bad at being Jedi. We're not very smart. And it's like, oh, well, I can't do this, but I can do that, and I can give you that. It's like, okay, well, if you do that, then we'll do this, and you can give us that for if we win the thing, and you can give us the boy, and we'll take him. That's pretty much, that's that, for the most part. But one of the things that the prequels does very stupidly is adds a whole bunch of extra rules to the lore that didn't need to exist. For instance, Anakin, who was about 9 when this movie takes place, was too old to be trained as a Jedi. And that doesn't make any sense because, I mean, Yoda agreed to train Luke when he was like 20. So I don't see what the difference... Why is it matter? I don't get it. It's not a rule that makes any sense. Didn't need to be there. It just bogs the story down for no reason. And Qui-Gon's like, well, I want to train the boy. And Yoda's like, no. Yes, no, okay. And then they go back to, oh yeah, Amidala, Padme Amidala is a character in the movie, and Palpatine is trying to manipulate her into giving him more power, so that's why they banned the embargo, because I don't think she was a queen, I think she was a senator. It was like, oh, you're bad at politics, so if I get you to sign this thing, then I can get more power and I can become a chancellor. I think. I don't actually understand the plot of the movie all that well. But they're able to go back to Naboo to fight the invading force of battle droids, but they have to equip the native species, Gungans, of which Jar Jar Binks is one. And Jar Jar Binks is the other worst character in this movie. I don't hate him all that much, actually, but he's definitely terrible. He does not belong in Star Wars or in this movie or story whatsoever, but he's there. And Merry Christmas, boys and girls. I hope you enjoy the fresh steaming basket of I Hate You because that's all you're getting for Christmas this year. Well, they go back to Naboo and they fight Darth Maul for the second time. Darth Maul is this really cool red guy. He's got horns and he's got a double-bladed lightsaber. He's like the coolest walking action figure you've ever seen. But he kills Qui-Gon, and then Obi-Wan kills him, and then Anakin goes pew 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 in a ship, and he's like, "Now this is pod racing. This that I'm shooting out of this is pod racing. That what I did earlier in the movie, no, that's not pod racing. This is pod racing. I don't know why." But yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn's body gets burned, and Obi-Wan gets knighted, and they begin to train Anakin. And that's the movie. It's honestly... Here's why it's bad, right? It's not bad because it's like, oh, it's a prequel, so it's obviously bad. It's just the fact that it's really, really boring. Like, they were trying to market Star Wars towards kids this time, which is fine, dandy. But if that's your goal, why is the whole plot of the movie politics and tariffs and trade embargoes and taxation and stuff like that? That's not interesting. Also, who's the protagonist of this movie? It's not Padme, it's not Anakin, it's not Qui-Gon, it's not Obi-Wan. All the characters just kind of seem to be going through the motions. Nobody's really active in this movie's plot except for Palpatine. So I guess Palpatine's the protagonist of the movie. Everything else is just kind of happening. I don't really know what's up with that. Darth Maul was really cool in theory. In execution, though, not so much. He was only half the man we thought he could be. It just didn't work out to be a very good movie. You know, it's just not all that strong. It just felt like a cash grab, really, because everything that happens in this movie is pretty much dropped in the next two. So it just comes across as so inconsequential that you wonder why it happened. Why was it necessary? What do we gain from this movie being part of the Star Wars canon? And it's really not a whole lot. It sets up Obi-Wan to be in a position where in his training of Anakin, he can falter in some areas and Anakin won't get the proper training that he needs to become a fully proficient Jedi. But if you could have removed Qui-Gon and made the dynamic Obi-Wan and Anakin from the very first movie, and you would have had a very similar effect. It's just nothing matches up. Then you have Coruscant, which is the worst thing in the whole movie, because it's just the Jedi sitting around doing nothing. Not a thing. They don't do a single thing, and it's really annoying because you know Yoda, at least, to be this great, ultra powerful and wise Jedi, but all he does in that movie is say, "To old years, train him, you must not." And it's just like, the best you can do it. I'm not loving it. I'm not feeling it. It's not speaking to me. But all that out of the way, I guess I gotta rate this, and I would just have to say that Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, just belongs in the trash, really. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. But yes, I do. But Star Wars Episode 1, have you seen it within the last 20 years? And if you did, what did you think about it? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below and educate me. And as always, if you want more videos, click somewhere on the screen. It will keep me fed and my lights on and my children taken care of. See you soon.